Today, I want to show you how to sharpen a chainsaw blade and to do it easily and effortlessly. So, I've already started to file these. And so I just use a simple hand file. You can use a guide if you like. I like to just feel it out. But before we get started, I want to give you a few tips. First, wear some safety glasses just to make sure that you don't get any metal slivers in your eyes or anything like that. Here, let me readjust the camera a little bit here. You don't need to see quite that low. There we go. There we go. That's a little better shot for you. Yeah, I'm sitting on the back of the RV here. We have it cleared. Looking like a bomb went off, but cleared. So, one thing that I want you to know about that's a great tip when it comes to running a chainsaw. You see, when we use bar oil, that's petroleum based. It's already bad enough that when we're doing 2-cycle, we got a lot of exhaust shooting out of here. For what we're doing, it's really not doing that much, and especially if we're gardeners and grow plants and everything, we're sucking more of them toxins out of the atmosphere than what we're putting out. So grow more plants so you can take more carbon and lock it back into the soil than what you're putting out in the atmosphere. And the plants also absorb all the different toxins and weird shit we like to spew into the atmosphere. And so do you and me. We all absorb it. So it's just breaking it down parts per million, making it less toxic for us. But anyways, I run rice bran oil for my bar lube. So the rice bran oil, it's thick enough to run in there. It's about the same viscosity. The only difference is in cold temperature, it does start to kind of thicken up. However, the warmth of the chainsaw, if you just simply let it warm up for a moment before you start, quickly just re-solidifies the oil and it runs smooth as butter. So rice bran oil, I really like it because it's natural. It doesn't mind, it works really well as a cutting oil. It has a scalding temperature of 450 degrees, which you're never going to reach those temperatures out here cutting. I mean, if you're reaching those temperatures, your blade is so dull that you need to stop because you're burning the wood and you're not cutting. So one thing you'll notice when your blade's getting dull, because when you look at the edge here, instead of being a nice flat straight edge, you'll start seeing, instead of having this sharp point, you'll start seeing the point start to round off. And you'll start seeing, instead of a nice crisp line going across the cutting edge, you'll see like a bit of a wave pattern. And so what we want to do is come through here and just simply run our file. We want to have it on the same angle, and you can feel it. If it's like too rough and it's jittering, well then you're probably taking too much of a cut on a wrong angle and you're not going with it. So if you have too much trouble with that, I might suggest using a guide bar. But if you just simply feel it out, see the angle, and pay attention to it as you're going, there we go. You see how nice and smooth that is? You can hear it. And see, this was actually quite bad, and now just with a few strokes it's good. And so we can go to the next one. Oop, see, my angle is off. Just get it there. Okay, there we go. And it is common for your first couple strokes, just because you got oh, I locked the bar. So if you can't pull the chain easily and effortlessly, probably because your bar's locked. See, locked, can't move. Push it back, boom, moves freely. Always make sure too that you can move your chain freely. So when you're done cleaning it, or when you're done cutting, a lot of times you get built up in here. And in fact, this guy's a little bit dirty right now, but it's not super dirty. See, the chain still runs nice. So you want to be able to run it around. You're probably like, Stanley, how are you going to know where you just were? You just moved the chain. You're in the middle of sharpening and you moved it. Well, the thing is when you've used the chain, it dulls. Just like I was just saying, it dulls the edge. So all I simply have to do is come look right here and see which one I've done. Good, good. See, we're coming along, coming along. And right here, see? This is the next one in line because this one's nice and shiny. I just put a good edge on it. And then right here's the next one to do. So always do one side of your chainsaw at a time. So it makes it much easier and quicker. So you're not going this way and then trying to swing it around and go that way. Because you don't want to go out. You don't want to go from the inside out. You don't want to go across the bar. You want to go in the bar. So starting from the outside into it on an angle. Not away from the saw, but towards the saw. That way it gives you a nice clean cutting edge. You won't have a burr that comes out because your cutting edge is on your sharp edge side. So right here. There we go. See, knocked a little bit of the edge off. There. Trying to hold the chain steady too is good. And then just the same kind of strokes each time. Just nice, smooth strokes. And you should hear it too. And you'll see it once it'll hit all that edge. All your edges will look nice and sharp again. They'll look nice and clean. You hear how it's a little rough at first? There we go, and it smooths right out. And it's just about repeating the process, continuing and repeating. It's a little tedious, but it goes pretty quick. And honestly, you can get a Dremel or something like that, but I find with how few strokes it actually takes to sharpen it, it's really not worth getting a Dremel. And if you're keeping up with your blade, it really should only take a couple strokes. I haven't sharpened this in a while, that's why I'm having to do a little bit more. But ideally, like, you know, almost every time you go out, every, you know, at least once an hour on the machine, every 2 hours, I would definitely hit it, you know, because you've done a lot of work, you went through a lot of wood, hit up those edges, and that'll make your chain last longer and stay sharper. Because as it dulls out, it'll actually wear more on the cutting edge than if you would have just cleaned it up. Because you have to grind off even more to make that rounded edge nice and straight. So I hope these were some good tips for you. Just go ahead and continue on moving down the chain, sharpening as you go. And always remember, have gloves on. You're sharpening this. This is super sharp. So it can really cut the shit out of you. You want to make sure that you have your protection on. Safety protection isn't something that's, you know, we should be laxed about. You always want to use it. Always cover your ears if it's loud. Always cover your eyes if, you know, you got something that can fling at you. Always wear gloves if it's going to be sharp. And, you know, it's just too many accidents happen very easily. You know, I've almost lost fingers, different things. Learning the hard way to be safe to begin with isn't the way to go. So just learn from others' mistakes. And if need be, wear a respirator, especially if you're spraying any chemicals, anything like that. Like, it's even advisable when mixing the gas and stuff like this to wear a charcoal filter, just so you're not breathing in those noxious gases. Really, even at the gas pump, that would be good. Now, our bodies, one thing nice, are really quick to rejuvenate and everything, and breathing in a little bit of fumes ain't gonna hurt you every now and then, as long as you're not doing it all the time. Your body is amazing, and it can recuperate extremely well. It can move toxins. It's just such a strong powerhouse. You just kind of have to believe it. So if you like these videos, make sure you like and subscribe. Check out some of the other videos with the ducks, because you can obviously hear them in the background. And you want to hit that little bell icon too when you hit the subscribe, because otherwise it'll just randomly show you stuff and not show you every time we upload. So So, and I want to thank everybody who's been liking and commenting and subscribing. So you guys are awesome. Have a beautiful day. See you next time. One more little tip when it comes to a chainsaw. Make sure you always tension the chain. Chainsaw, tension the chain. Tension the chain. Never not tension the chain. If you don't have your little tool that comes with it for tensioning it, flathead screwdriver, socket. This one happens to be 13 millimeter. I think most of them are, especially these Asian ones. But either way, so you tension it where you want it, then you tighten it. Just do it real. But the thing is you want your chain to move freely. So if it's not moving freely, let me loosen it just a tad. You don't have to loosen both, just loosen one. And loosen this up just a tad. You want it to move, oh, that's a little tighter than I want it. So you want to loosen it or tighten it until you get good, easy flowing on the chain. You don't want it to be binding. There we go. See, it's a little bit looser there. Go back a little bit further. There we go. Nice move. And then also, when you lift the chain, you want to make sure that when you lift the chain, the bottom of your teeth aren't easily coming out. See, like here, see how the teeth are still in the little canal? They're in the guide, because you don't want your chain to be able to just easily pop out of that guide. If it does, it's not tight enough. So now that we have it as tight as we want, now we can go ahead and just tighten the whole thing up. And you don't really need to impact much on those because you want them to be just snug enough. Yeah. So I hope you like this. And again, one more extra tip I wanted to show you. So in the next video, you're going to have to check it out because I'm actually going to carve a seat in a maple stump.